And one of the funniest ones was a dude trying to duke it out with GROK in my replies, and I'm trying to find it really quickly. I don't know if I can find it, but it was just like a guy who kept asking GROK if what I was saying was true, and then GROK being like, yes, what he's saying is true. Like, and he just kept being like, well, do they have, does the First Amendment extend to non-citizens? And the GROK was like, yes, it does extend to non-citizens. He's like, well, what if these non-citizens are pro-Hamas? Oh, here it is. This is the funniest thing. Like, first of all, I think I'm sorry, but if you're one of these guys that's like constantly asking ChatGPT or GROK what the answer is, I really have an unfavorable opinion of you. I'm going to be as gentle and as polite as possible. Just fucking Google it on your own, okay? If you're constantly asking a chatbot what to think, I'm sorry, you are dumber than the dumbest human being. You have officially become like dumber than the average person because you're like, I'm going to ask a fucking machine what to think. You're letting a machine that quite literally lies, and it's called hallucinations, okay? And it's not its own fault. It's just, that's just what the AI is. What's the difference between asking ChatGPT and Google? The difference is you're so fucking lazy that you want that shit to be soft served to you. That's the difference. Asking Google is already easier than going to the library and doing a lot of reading and doing the research yourself if you choose to see fit. But asking ChatGPT, on the other hand, is unironically dumber than Google. And Google has its own fucking AI AI tool as well, which I also despise. It's wrong. It's wrong. It has the capacity to hallucinate. Okay? You have to rely on critical thinking skills. You have to keep using your brain. I know it sounds insane that I'm saying this, but like, please. But it's additionally, you are the lowest form of human is basically, to me, this is the equivalent of asking your toaster what to do. Okay. Oh man, I have a real big decision ahead of myself, toaster. What do I do? Toaster doesn't respond, but you're like, but please respond to me, toaster. Like, this is so dumb. In any case, at GROK, does sympathizing with Hamas fall under First Amendment? Expressing sympathy for Hamas is generally protected under the First Amendment as free speech, provided it doesn't involve material support, e.g. money, training, or incitement to violence. Legal cases like Holder v. Humanitarian Law Project distinguish protected advocacy from unprotected actions. Despite Hamas's terrorist designation, independent speech remains safeguarded, though the issue sparks debate over security versus rights. Does this include green card holders? Green card holders likely have a First Amendment right to express sympathy for Hamas without criminal punishment, unless it involves material support for or incitement. However, they face potential deportation risks under immigration law, unlike U.S. citizens who are fully protected. Recent cases like Mahmoud Khalil's arrest highlight this disparity, with debates ongoing about free speech versus national security. This answer isn't very clear. Do they or don't they have First Amendment rights? Is deporting them legal or illegal? If they're deported, on what legal grounds are they deported? Green card holders have First Amendment rights, but these may not prevent deportation under immigration law. Deporting them for speech is legal if tied to security risks like supporting terrorism, though it's debated. Grounds typically fall under INA, e.g., aiding groups like Hamas. He just like, how are you getting owned by an artificial chatbot? You could have spared yourself this embarrassing moment. You didn't mention what kinds of support in your original tweet. Supporting Hamas is not a deportable offense. It absolutely falls under, we're talking about ICE kidnapping students for not being pro-Israel enough. Of course, I'm not talking about offering material support to Hamas. Okay? You can't do that. Unless you're offering material support to the IRA, in which case you can do that, and it's a favorite American pastime. One of the few instances where at least a lot of Americans were on the right side of one fucking conflict and did not align with the colonial entity there. I want to make this very clear, okay? It is already super illegal to do those things. And it's also virtually impossible to do those things. There is no way that you can offer material support to Hamas. You can't send them weapons. You can't send them bombs. You can't send them money. Okay? That's not a thing you can do. It is impossible unless you fucking figured out like a cryptocurrency wallet or something, in which case it's still very much illegal and the government most likely will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. Yes. Saying with your words that you support Hamas, even if you were to say that, is not illegal. No matter how much it hurts your fucking feelings. No matter how much it makes you scared. It makes you scared. Okay? Saying you support the onslaught. But I said, something that gets brought up in conversation about ICE kidnapping students for not being pro-Israel enough is the government falsely claiming they support Hamas. And I want to make something very clear. Supporting Hamas is not a deportable offense. It absolutely falls under First Amendment protections. Okay? The bar for deportation or the revocation of your student visa or the revocation of your legal permanent residency status is infinitely higher than I don't like what you have to say. That is precisely why there is currently a legal battle taking place. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why so many people just like refuse to recognize this reality. But there were so many people. They're here on visas, bro. No country would allow them to do what they're doing on a visa. This country does. It's in the Constitution, is what I responded with. They're here on visas, bro. They're here on visas. It's like, it doesn't matter. A law movement or the Houthis. A direct violation of the First Amendment. Even a support for Hamas in and of itself. Supporting Hamas is not a punishable offense. This is ridiculous. Just like supporting Israel, which is an infinitely worse force in the region than Hamas ever could be, is not a violation that causes you to get deported. Hasman says you're wrong. I know. That doesn't mean what you think it means. If you had any fucking brain cells, you would understand that isn't the argument that you think it is. As Asmongold says you're wrong is such a funny statement in and of itself. It's like, okay. It's like saying, oh yeah, my dad with a fucking high school education thinks you're wrong. And before you say Asman went to college, doesn't matter. He's LARPing as a person who is a dumbass in an effort to cultivate a fan base of dumbasses. Yeah. He also thinks the real severe violation of free speech is when titties are small in video games. Not exactly, the sharpest fucking tool in the tool shed. Even though he is actually a lot smarter than he presents himself as. He's just LARPing.
saw at almost every Ivy League institution outside Princeton. Well, I didn't really see much there. Now, not only is the